The BMF belt was made in 2019 specifically for fun fighters to get their hands on. Guys who were not exactly world class level that could get the belt. This belt was invented for guys like Max Holloway, guys like Charles Oliveira to finally hold the belt and just show how much of a bad motherfucker they really are. It is called the BMF belt. It is on the line this Saturday. And that is the main event. It is Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. It's your boy Tennant. I'm here to break down some more fights for you guys. Every Tuesday I'm going to try and make it a habit to get a video out there for you of my full card breakdown, so you have lots of time to think about all the things I've said. Taking consideration for the picks you originally have for the card. And if I make you guys switch your pick and it hits, just like some of the things last week, then yeah, I feel good. So this card looks very, very good. I'm very excited for this card. It is UFC 326 on Paramount Plus. And like always, we'll start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. First fight on the card, it is Luke Fernandez against Rodolfo Bellato. Guys, starting off with a great fight here. Luke Fernandez is a prospect, you may have never heard from. He fights on the Dana White Contender Series. He had a great performance. Luke Fernandez is pretty complete, I'd say. He's also the champion right now, the 205 division in a different promotion. So he's 6-0. He's a bit new. He's a bit fresh. He's a bit fresh in his career, Luke Fernandez, but he's very well rounded. He has great wrestling. He has good striking. He has the way better striking here against Rodolfo Bellato. What I think he has to do is keep the fight standing. I think you need to stay away from the power and the caveman-like activities of Rodolfo Bellato. He needs to stick out a nice crisp jab in Rodolfo Bellato's face. Get the knees up the middle. That's what Rodolfo Bellato is susceptible to. And maybe we'll get Rodolfo Bellato acting again like he's on Hollywood. I don't know if you guys remember that at all, but against Paul Craig, apparently he got knocked out, but the guy was just clowning around. I think he faked that illegal strike, to be honest, to try and milk a win. Rodolfo Bellato has slow hands, but they are heavy. Rodolfo Bellato is a decent grappler here, but in my opinion, I think Luke Fernandez is going to make easy work of this guy in the 205 division. I think he's the better fighter wherever this fight goes, and I like him a lot in the spot. So give me Luke Fernandez for his debut in the UFC. Next fight, we got Gaston Bolaños against Jung Young Lee. Gaston Bolaños is more of a striker, doesn't have a lot of wrestling. Bolaños should be cut from the UFC, in my opinion. He's not good enough. B tier tech, C tier. You can even call him D tier tech. Ilya Taporia. Not great wrestling, has decent striking. He's fighting Jung Young Lee, a guy who has terrible striking defense. Let's not put that by here. So 1 + 1 = 2. Bolaños hits hard. He has good combinations in the boxing. And if Jung Young Lee does not wrestle and does not cover up and cannot move his head and find ways to attack the body of Gaston Bolaños, then this guy could get put out. We saw against Hyder Emil. The guy just stood there and ate 25 unanswered shots from Hyder Emil. Jung Young Lee, I'm not confident enough to put this guy in a parlay. He's minus 300. I don't like the odds, even though I believe Gaston Bolaños sucks. I believe the striking defense of Jung Young Lee is not good at all. And if he does not choose to wrestle here, then Gaston Bolaños will get the win. But in my opinion, I think he bounces back from the couple losses he's had. I believe he wrestles Gaston Bolaños here, and I think Jung Young Lee can win this fight by decision if he fights smart. So my official pick is Jung Young Lee by decision. Next fight, we got Rafael Tobias against Dr. Nurgazai. Rafael Tobias is kind of a jiu-jitsu nerd. We saw him on the Contender Series. The guy looked pretty good. He has nice submissions, nice trips, and nice wrestling. Rafael Tobias has basic striking, I'd say. I don't mind the guy. I think he's a good prospect, to be honest. And he's fighting a guy in Dr. Nurgazai. We've watched him fight twice in the UFC. Just got subbed to Ruan Saltabaldiev. Dr. is not like the guy people were talking this guy up to be. He was 10-0 coming into the UFC. He was supposed to be this nightmare in the 205 division, and he just hasn't looked good. Not at all. He doesn't throw his hands. He doesn't chain wrestle like he was supposed to. Dr. Nurgazai just has not got going. And I'm wondering, is that because of the level of competition? It can't be. Ruan Saltabaldiev lost his first UFC fight, and then he comes back and he submits Dr. with no problem whatsoever. In my opinion, you have to fade the guy who's fucked you before. Dr. has fucked me before, and he's lost both his fights in the UFC. I'm going to take Rafael Tobias here by submission. I believe he can catch Dr. in a nasty choke. I think he can tag him on the feet. If he just wants to throw, if Rafael Tobias just throws a jab out there, keeps him at bay, and takes his shots from wherever he wants, I believe Rafael Tobias can win this fight. If DR would actually throw combinations and I had trust that he'd throw, I'd pick him. I just can't do it though. I cannot trust this guy. Give me Rafael Tobias by submission in this matchup. Next fight, we got Sumundarji against Jesus Aguilar. Sumundarji's got a special place in my heart. You know, when I first watched fighting, he fought Matt Schnell. If you guys haven't seen that fight, it is one of my favorite fights I've ever watched. Still to this day, an absolute scrap, an absolute banger. The short elbows from Suman Darji were absolutely insane. You know, I remember just constantly my dad and I just going, oh, ah, ooh, ah, just every time they clash because they're just throwing so hard. If you haven't watched that fight, Suman Darji versus Matt Schnell, I recommend you throw it on and see what Suman Darji is like in the boxing. He's gross. Yeah, so like I said, Suman Darji has nice, crisp boxing. He's very long for the division at 5'8". Suman Darji has rangy elbows. He has great boxing combinations, especially at range. Suman Darji does not have great wrestling, and that could be a problem here against Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar will be shooting takedowns. He will not be striking with Suman Darji here, and he also has a nasty guillotine. So if Suman Darji gets lazy, gets sloppy, he gets rocked, or if he shoots a sloppy takedown, watch out for the guillotine of Jesus Aguilar. It is going to be there if Mudarji gets rocked. I do not see him getting rocked. The only way Jesus Aguilar wins this fight is if he shoots a nice clean takedown and he gets on top of him in full mount or in half guard, and he can transition to other positions to try and choke him with an arm triangle or get to the back with a rear naked choke. But in my opinion, I think Suman Darji's too quick for him. I think he's too clean on the feet. I think he's too polished, and he has a decent takedown defense. So if Jesus Aguilar, is only depending on a takedown to win him this fight, I don't know if that's going to happen. I got to pick my guy here. I got to go Suman Darji in this matchup. Next fight, we got Cody Durden against Nam Turdamundil. We're going to call him Nam because this guy's name is as long as anybody's name. Long as shit. We're going to call him Nam. Nam has great boxing combinations. He fought Carlos Hernandez. Carlos Hernandez is not a bum. Don't let the record fool you. He's lost to very, very good level of competition if you go look at the record of Carlos Hernandez. Nam has great striking. He has a good takedown defense. The only thing Nam lacks is cardio. That's okay here, though, because Cody Durden also lacks cardio, and Cody Durden can't strike. The only way Cody Durden can win this matchup if he just chain wrestles the entire fight. The problem is Cody Durden can't do that anymore because he's too old, he's too slow, and he slows down with his cardio every single fight. The striking's not going to be there. Nam is going to knock this guy out in round 2. Give me Nam by KO. Next fight, we got Alberto Montez against Ricky Tercios. Alberto Montez is a full-on jiu-jitsu nerd. This guy loves his anaconda and Darce chokes. He loves to jump gill. He was on the Contender Series. He looked pretty good to me. People saying his striking wasn't amazing. I didn't mind his striking. I thought his striking looked pretty good in that matchup on the Contender Series last year. But in my opinion, he is for sure jiu-jitsu nerd. He loves to try and find those scrambles to get his arm under your arm and above your neck to cradle it to get an anaconda choke. Alberto Montez has really, really good at that, and he has tons of wins by submission here. And Ricky Tercios is poop. The guy sucks. He used to be great. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He just throws output. He just throws volume to try and get you off your game. He tries to win on the scorecards. Ricky Tercios has no malicious intent. The guy cannot knock you out. So in my opinion, Alberto Montez is going to catch Ricky Tercios either shooting in a terrible sloppy takedown or he's going to get it to the ground somehow, maybe even tagging him with the striking to rock him. And he's going to jump for a submission, and I believe he's going to get it. So give me Alberto Montez by submission in this matchup. Next fight, we got Dante Johnson, a Dana White Contender Series graduation alumni, against Cody Brundage. Guys, you know the name Cody Brundage. The guy keeps getting knocked out. But in hindsight, the guy keeps getting matched up against really good fighters here. Sadly, it's not going to stop. Dante Johnson is very good, in my opinion. Dante Johnson has heavy power. He will put your lights out. We saw in his last fight against Dricus Dumas, he was trying to implement his wrestling better. Against Cody Brundage, I'd prefer he just strikes because Cody Brundage has a glass chin and he loves to get in a war fight. And I believe Dante Johnson has an iron chin and he can withstand the punches Cody Brundage throws at him. Dante Johnson has big power. He took the fight on short notice in Dana White Contender Series at heavyweight at 5'8". He fights at 185. Guys, he fought a guy that was 250 pounds when he weighed like 205. Dante Johnson is a dog. He's like that. I promise you, he's like, he's got an iron chin. He's got great boxing combinations, wide, huge hooks. Cody Brundage has a glass chin. He just got finished a couple of weeks ago. He's taking this fight on short notice. Guys, all of this just smells and spells get out of here, Cody. Cody, please take some rest. Stop taking these big fights, these big punishments, because you're about to get knocked out again. Give me Dante Johnson by knockout in this matchup. Next fight, we got Cody No Love Garbrandt against Long Zhao. Oh, Cody. It's so hard to pick you, Cody. We all know who Cody Garbrandt is. The guy's a monster in the pocket. He loves to throw his quick combinations. He has decent takedown defense as well. But Cody No Love Garbrandt is made for boxing. Cody Garbrandt is in the pocket. He's moving his head. He's ducking out of his way. He's moving his body off the center line. He is brilliant at that. But any other aspect of mixed martial arts, he's not great. He's not great in the clinch. He's not great on the ground. He's not great in submission problems. Long Zhao is a wrestler at heart, but also Long Zhao will engage in a firefight. Will he engage in a firefight against Cody Garbrandt? I don't know. I don't believe he does. I believe Long Zhao has the fight IQ to not do that. The only reason he stood against Quang Bang is because Quang Bang sucks. This is Cody Garbrandt. This is one of the highest level of striking in the 135 division. I believe Long Zhao shoots takedowns. I believe he makes this fight boring, and I believe Long Zhao wins by decision or submission in this matchup. Next fight, we got a rematch from 3 years ago. RoboCop against Bruno Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira knocked this guy out cold. Bruno Ferreira hits with massive power. That's why the nickname is Hulk. Bruno Ferreira is a one-dimensional fighter, though. You may say, oh, he's got a BJJ black belt. The guy doesn't use it. Bruno Ferreira doesn't shoot nice, clean takedowns in his fights. He relies on his wide hooks, on his huge two coming down the pipe. He's trying to pull you in, a bait and pull as they call it. He comes back and then bang, he'll throw his punch right on the center line of you coming in to try and grab him or coming in to try and throw your own punch. He's very good at that. People say his BJJ black belt, it's this, that. He just doesn't use it. So I cannot incorporate that skill in this matchup here. Gregory Rodriguez is a mixed martial artist. He is a complete mixed martial artist, in my opinion. Rodriguez has similar striking. He has big power. The problem with RoboCop is that he cuts very easily. His face gets butchered up very quickly. He bleeds very easily. But I believe RoboCop will wrestle in this matchup. I believe he gets to the ground. I believe he's the better BJJ specialist here on the ground. We've seen him use it in the past, and we've seen that Greg's cardio is not great. The great thing about this, it's only 3 rounds. We saw the lack of cardio against Jared Cannonier. He was killing that guy for 2 to 3 rounds, and then he gassed. Here it's 3 rounds. I think RoboCop has made the adjustments in this matchup, and I believe he knocks out Bruno Ferreira or delays on him for a boring decision. Give me RoboCop in this matchup. On the main card, we got Michael the Menace Johnson against Drew Dober. They pretty much just threw this fight on here to make it look a little bit better. These are 2 veterans that love to throw down. Drew Dober, I'll go over him first. Drew Dober, some could say the guy's a little racist if you look at his track record. It seems like he only tries against the guys that are black. I didn't say that, though. Just go look at the record. It's a cool joke. Drew Dober has decent boxing skills, decent kickboxing skills. He actually has good wrestling skills, but doesn't use it. He loves to be entertaining. He loves to throw with all he has. And the same is here with Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson is an OG in this fight business. The guy loves to throw. He loves to stand and bang with people. And this fight's going to be an absolute banger. I'm kind of going back and forth on who to pick in this matchup here. Michael Johnson, in my opinion, has the cleaner boxing here. We've seen Drew Dober's chin get kind of cracked. We saw Gene Silva absolutely beat the piss out of this guy. If you know me, I'm a huge Gene Silva guy. I've been on him since the start, and I hope he can make it to the top. Michael Johnson, in my opinion, is too clean, and I believe he hits too hard, and he just got a decent win against Zellhuber. Now, I know Zellhuber's looked like absolute dog shit the past two fights, losing to Bobby Green and Michael Johnson. But that's a good guy to knock off. And I believe Daniel Zellhuber wasn't himself because of who Michael Johnson was. I don't believe Drew Dober has the tools to dethrone Michael Johnson in this matchup. I think his striking is going to be too quick and too clean. So give me Michael Johnson in this matchup. Next, we got a clash of styles. We got Rob Font against Raul Rosas Jr. Rob Font, guy's a boxer. He'll stand there. He has some of the best hands in the 135 division. Does not throw kicks. He is a one-dimensional fighter. He's fighting against the new gen here in Raul Rosas Jr. You could also say he's a one-dimensional fighter. He loves to shoot takedowns, loves to lay on your back, loves to get the control. Submissions are the game of Raul Rosas Jr. here. And Rob Font has been known for not being able to stuff the takedowns. Plain and simple. Now, if Raul Rosas Jr. is an idiot and stands there with Rob Font all 3 rounds, he's going to get fucking tagged and lit up. I don't believe Raul Rosas Jr. is an idiot, though. I believe he sticks to what he's good at. I believe he shoots the nice, clean takedowns. He gets in the back of Rob Font, and he gets a nice rear naked choke submission in this matchup. I believe the guard has been passed from Rob Font. I don't believe he's good enough anymore in the 135 division. And I believe Raul Rosas Jr. will continue to climb the rankings, especially in this matchup. Next fight, we got a banger co-main. It is Caio Borralho against Rainier de Ridder. Guys, I like both these guys. I like both these guys a lot. This is going to be pretty hard for me to pick. Both these guys are fantastic, and they're very, very clean in their own respective styles of fighting. I'll start with Caio Borralho. If you know me, if you've been following the channel for a couple of years, I started with the hype on the Fighting Nerds, guys. I was on that team for a long time when Caio Borralho went to Dana White Contender Series. Caio Borralho, he's really made a name for himself. He's only lost being against the sniper Nasruddin Imavov, a guy who I don't like personally. I don't like the persona of the guy. I don't think he's that good, but he keeps proving me wrong every single time. So maybe I'll just shut the fuck up about him. But Caio Borralho, we know who this guy is. He's a monster. He has very, very good game plans, especially when he's fighting his opponents. Apart from his last fight, obviously, Imavov made him look like a bum, to be honest. Caio Borralho has a nice clean jab, a nice 1-2 down the pipe. I wouldn't say he throws a lot of hooks. He's very calculated in there. He has great takedowns most of the time. Borralho, he will bait you into the type of fight he wants to fight. He's a very calm and slower paced guy in the first couple rounds. Um, and I believe that's going to help Rainier de Ridder in this matchup. We just saw Rainier de Ridder quit on the stool against Brandon Allen. That's absurd to hear, guys. Brandon Allen is making you quit on the stool. Pretty embarrassing, but you have to keep in mind Rainier de Ridder fought 4 times last year. Rainier de Ridder cuts a crap ton of weight. He's the biggest fighter in the 185 division. This guy's an absolute monster. We've watched Rainier de Ridder. His main weapon is the knee up the pipe, the knees in the clinch. Rainier de Ridder is so tall and so long that his knees reach your gut perfectly, and he uses those with malicious intent. He's got a couple body shot stoppages wins, like especially against Bo Nickel. Guy went down like a sack of potatoes. Here, in my opinion, Caio Borralho is the much better striker. The much better striker. If they want to stand and bang, Caio Borralho is going to pick this guy apart for 3 rounds. The problem is Rainier de Ridder going to wrestle? I don't believe so, because Caio Borralho is so well-rounded. He's got great takedown defense. He can also counter-wrestle if Rainier shoots. I don't see a way Rainier de Ridder wins this matchup. I think Caio Borralho is better everywhere in mixed martial arts. I think Caio Borralho can stand and bang. He can chip away at Rainier de Ridder's legs. He can 1-2 down the pipe. He can keep him at bay. And as long as there's no clinch exchanges, Caio Borralho should cruise to a decision victory. I'm going to pick him by decision here. I think that's a great play. Last but certainly not least, saving the best for last, we got Max Holloway against Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. This is one of the hardest fights for me to predict. I love both these dudes. Both these dudes made me fall in love with fighting, with the UFC, with MMA. We all know who these guys are. I'm going to break them down just for maybe some new people coming in who don't know too much about the UFC. Max Holloway, the significant strikes leader in significant strikes. It's that simple. Max Holloway stands there. He bangs. He is the better boxer in almost every single matchup, and it shows with how much significant strikes he lands. Max Holloway is an absolute monster. He'll stand there. He's got decent takedown defense. just out volume you, and it'll just make you look like a piece of shit. Exhibit A, Justin Gaethje absolutely dismantled the guy 50-45 if he did not get that knockout in the last second. I picked Max Holloway in that matchup. I believed the power was going to translate well. I didn't believe Justin Gaethje was as technical as Max Holloway, and that was the exact thing that happened in that matchup. Max Holloway was absolutely outclassing that dude everywhere that fight went. I knew Justin Gaethje was not going to shoot any takedowns, and Max Holloway pieced that dude up. Charles Oliveira is the all-time finish king, specifically submissions. Charles Oliveira BJJ is some of the best you've ever seen in the world, and it's absolutely incredible. And I just appreciate everything Charles Oliveira has done for the sport. I have a great shirt of him that I wear to the gym. All these guys like compliment me for wearing it, and it's fantastic for sure for Charles Oliveira. One of my favorite fighters, if not my favorite fighter, on the UFC roster. Charles Oliveira can also box. People are forgetting Charles Oliveira can box, and I don't know why. We saw him light out Mateus Gamrot. We saw him go to war with Justin Gaethje, and we saw him drop him in the first round. Charles Oliveira can strike, and the difference here in this matchup, in my opinion, my bias has kind of switched to the Charles Oliveira side, in my opinion here, because Charles Oliveira shows that he will wrestle. After getting KO'd by Mateus Gamrot, or sorry, after being KO'd by Ilya Topuria, he wrestled the wrestler in Mateus Gamrot. It was very, very eye-opening for me here. So this makes me wonder, is Charles Oliveira going to be scared to wrestle because it's the BMF belt and he wants to put on a show? Or is he going to take Max Holloway down, out-wrestle him, out-clinch him, take him down, take his back, and sub him? My opinion has switched here. I believe Charles Oliveira is going to wrestle in this matchup. I think he's better in the clinch. I think he's better on the ground. Um, and I believe Charles Oliveira wins this fight as the underdog. Um, I did not think I was going to say this last week. I switched my pick here. Maybe it's for the wrong reasons. But I believe Charles Oliveira gets this fight done. I believe he wrestles early. He takes the zip out of Max a little bit. And I believe he can find a submission victory here. And, if it is on the feet, Max Holloway's not knocking anybody out, apart from Justin Gaethje in the last second. He's just going to out-volume him. And I believe Charles Oliveira can find that kill shot on Max Holloway, whose chin has been cracked. Give me Charles Oliveira in this matchup. I believe he out-wrestles him. I believe he gets the submission. And I believe he is the new BMF title champion. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you learned a lot from these breakdowns. I hope I've skewed you guys in the right direction to get the guys who you think is going to win. And I'll see you back here next Tuesday for the next full card breakdown. And I'm out. Peace.